And we're back. MVP versus TYLOO, map number 2. MVP, they've got a lot to answer for, and they will have to do it on Inferno. And I got to say, James, TYLOO, who can be prepared for TYLOO on Inferno? I don't think anyone can. They're mad.
Yeah, it's always entertaining, that's for sure. And look at these crazy apps. Like, what were you guys thinking at home? 15% TYLOO, man.
That is pretty weird, isn't it? I don't...
It's madness. It's madness.
I like the color contrast, by the way. The kind of like the deep red and the blue of MVP.
The classic red versus blue.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's Halo.
It looks really good.
Except it's not. It's Counter-Strike.
I need to watch that again. That was like one of the... That's like
the red versus blue series on YouTube.
Yeah, OG. It's so old.
It is, yes. It is. I would like to go. It's quite off topic, but I would like to go through the story of Halo. Because it seems to be pretty awesome. I played like a little bit of one on a PC and then kind of got distracted by a fly or something. So
I played the first one, but I had like an FPS bug or something, and it was FPS based physics. So it was like I was playing in slow motion, but I didn't realize for a really long time. So, so it was really stupid.
I just cannot imagine being you, Dan. I cannot imagine what FPS based graphics are either. So
physics, yeah. Well, there's a lot of the fighting games. I like that they have to run at 60 frames per second, you know. And
I've had some underwater games of Street Fighter 4 on the Xbox back in the day.
Yeah. Quake 3 was like that originally. It got patched out eventually, but if you had more FPS, you would actually be more floaty. Your movement would be more floaty for whatever reason. Very strange.
Video games, eh?
Yep.
MVP will start on the T side of Inferno. They'll be the aggressors. Jetter's got himself a P250. Love to see it, really do. We've got a smoke, 2 smokes actually for MVP, a Molotov and a flashbang. Now, how do they combine the play carrying the molly and the flash? Because often you'd expect the flash to go, say, from top mid towards the balcony position. And look at TYLOO. They've got 2 on arch and they've got 2 on short. They are very expectant of a play towards mid. They have got some kind of hard read of MVP, but will it pay off?
Yeah, we're seeing this really commonly, the retake setups where there's 4 top mid seems to be in vogue. And the balcony pop is going to be quite a good way to deal with it because they get behind the defense, but they've got to hit the headshots and they're simply not doing it just yet. But here we go. Stacks finally kicks things off in favor of MVP, but it's still quite the struggle. They're down to 2 players. They can get a sneaky plant here. Stacks, oh god, he's planting open. That's so bold. There was no way to get a plant there, it seems, and it was a good effort, but TYLOO managed to get it to work.
Yeah, I don't think you can expect 4 players to be top mid on a pistol round. It seems TYLOO were prepared for the option of MVP bursting onto the balcony by just having the sheer numbers there. Obviously, in that kind of play, you're going to focus on getting into the pit area in first place, and then the USP still have the range advantage from the arch position and so on. And the numbers game seemed to work out for TYLOO, although I guess it was more or less even. Kind of 4v4 with the guy throwing the flash being the 5th man in the mid position. Anyway, it's a 3-2 setup for TYLOO. 4 UMPs in the M4A4 for Summer. MVP they've made a big investment. They've thrown everything at this round. Shetter's on the scout. I don't often see much on a scout on the T side of Inferno. I'm not a fan of it personally. But we'll see if he's able to do anything. There's a fadeaway HE, and somebody's not too afraid at the moment. He's got Bentep for support grenades. He'll do some jump spotting and try to keep these Ts honest. Bentep just holding just in case. Does he go to have another look? Spots the head there. They've got control of banana for now.
Yeah, they do certainly have the banana area, but they must develop this banana control into some kind of an option that's going to work out for them. TYLOO are just keeping it defensive for now, and they're not really searching for any information. They've got top middle, so given that, oh, okay, well, this surely needs a rotation at this point. How long can Bentep hold on for? He throws the Molotov straight into the smoke. That is quite annoying. Oh dear. All right, well, here comes Summer with the spray. That's actually the bomb down. They're going to collect that again. So he's done a little bit of damage at least. And the health is not the best here for the MVP players.
Oh, here comes the HE off the wall. No, it's gone the other way. I thought he might have bounced it towards the default plant spot. Easy frag for Zeph. He did a lot of damage to Summer, which will be followed up upon. So we've got an entry frag with the scout towards the B bomb site. What the hell do I know? Freeman with the UMP. What does he choose to do? Take weapons away. Walks to his doom. And there's a very surprising round for MVP, opening up the can of worms with the scout towards B. How about that?
Yeah, but I do imagine that we would see a force buy in response. It's usually how things go. I mentioned this the other day that there are some maps and some situations, like if you're the better team, if you think you're the better team, I actually don't know if there's a great argument necessarily for continuing to force buy. I think sometimes you might even just want to give it up in the fact that maximizing your buy rounds is the true objective. But without going too far into that train of thought, we've got a quick connection with a scout shot. And that's pretty pivotal here because MVP, once you get tagged by a scout on a couple players, then things start to get a little bit desperate. These pistols start to become a lot stronger. And we can see there's only a couple smokes. We've got some other nades here, and here's a bait setup on the sandbags position. So there's definitely a lot of issues here for MVP to deal with.
Okay. There's another flashbang, trying to create some space, but it's going to land just in time, actually. I was waiting to say too late, but apparently not. The rifle will be rescued at the very least. But what is plan B for MVP? 4 versus 4. There are no smoke grenades for TYLOO to delay, to try and put MVP into an awkward spot. The scout's disposed of. Not sad to see that. And they go back towards the B-bomb site, wherever they choose to go at the moment. Unbeknownst to them, it is 2 versus 4 from TYLOO's perspective. But someone was top mid with a scout. He hasn't seen anything, and he starts to creep over. He's got a HE grenade, which would be very interesting if he can find the right timing. There's a smoke looking for a response, but I don't quite know what's going on just yet. So with him on speedway, I don't think he'll be in position, or will he? He comes back. The HE is going to be deployed at the feet of Zeta. Can it be followed up upon? It can be. Nice combo, but is there more damage to be done here from TYLOO? Perhaps not. Someone with the scout. Just guesswork now. That was a nice lineup. Almost finding the head, but finding nothing at all. Now what do they choose to do? Summer and Freeman versus 3.
Yeah, without any utility, it's very difficult. MVP can just play very deep. They don't have to peek here. They should force the CTs to really commit deep before they themselves actually peek, especially given the HP that they have. It's kind of a checkmate in a sense, but Stax will go for a peek and he'll actually win that fight. So yeah, now there's of course no way for anything to be accomplished by TYLOO. Freeman though looking to maybe get some damage. That's nice. That is pretty important. Another kill goes the way of TYLOO, but they will have to go for the full save now. So it looks like MVP have managed to secure themselves a lead. They've managed to stabilize, or they should stabilize their economy in the next round, and the ball is truly in their court. So TYLOO on the back foot. And that's the perfect way for MVP to start this map, considering how map 1 went.
No investment in this round from TYLOO, and what would be the point? Keep all your money for the buy round. Very reasonable stuff. Don't see it often enough. MVP with their initial assault of any aggressive CT positions towards Banana, but there will be none. It's a fairly standard round from TYLOO, despite the USPs. And we're not going to see a huge stack in the pool position or anything like that. 3 towards short. So there's some semblance of a stack, and then 2 towards B. Looking for some kind of crossfire. You can see, looks like somebody will be the initial engager. I would presume he's got an off angle from the fountain, and then Bentet will pop out. Although he's jiggling a little. MVP looking for a response. They've still got good utility and a reasonable level of Molotovs for an execute of some description. Zeph looking for a peek, and I wonder what they make of this. Nothing being seen just yet. MVP, there's a flash towards top. It's the rudimentary one, rather than the burst one you would like to see from the bottom of mid. And Freeman's got himself 2 frags from this, so that's a job well done at this point already. One of the players towards B is being taken out, and I think he knows, oh, he's made to play through the smoke. Look at that. What in the blazes is going on? Maybe he's just holding the W button. I think he realized that was maybe inviting some variance that nobody needed. You can see Sign just protecting the weapons top mid. Beautiful stuff from him. That's the most that the CTs could look to get out of it at that point. Just pick up a rifle. So the awareness is there from MVP. That's nice.
Yeah, that's really nice. It's good to see that they managed to get it done in the end. They did lose a couple players though, so that's obviously not ideal. And I think TYLOO will honestly be in a position where they're pretty happy, like all things considered. You know, you can't do too much necessarily, like looking back, but what you can do is get some kills and keep their economy honest. And their economy is pretty awful. Unless they get a bomb down, then if they lose this round, they're not going to be in a position to have a strong buy. So TYLOO are in a pretty good spot, but they have opted to get a couple of UMPs here, which does to afford themselves more utility, which I think that's smart. But there's no AWP, so this will be a hard one. But they've got a little setup here. On top of Porch, we see Freeman, and below him, Attacker. So this is a strong setup to deal with the mid takes. But look at this. This is the perfect way to counter this, is to just do the balcony pop, get straight into the pit position. However, they're struggling to get the kills here. This is, wow, oh my god, TYLOO are doing a lot of damage. This is surprising, James.
Yeah, but the bombs made it to the bomb sites, and they can be a crossfire for the T's, which will help somewhat, but two of the CTs are coming in from the arch position. There's a smoke to be dropped, but it's not a brick wall. Two players coming in from the short area. HSK trying to get on the bicycle to look over the wall. Manages to do so. Nothing doing just yet. Maybe Bentet runs distraction. There are flashes and smoke grenades for the CT side. They'll isolate what the T's can do in terms of crossfire. 1 for 1. Now there's a lot to do for Stacks, and he won't last very long. TYLOO back on the scoreboard. Collecting the utility, the guns on the floor and so on. 2 players survive, which is maybe an opportunity for MVP to break them.
Yeah, that was a really interesting round. Obviously, MVP don't know the setup of TYLOO don't know that there's going to be a balcony pop, and MVP don't know that TYLOO kind of stacked mid. So it looks kind of weird when I feel like MVP, they've got a really good round there because they've circumvented the defense, because you go straight into the pit. There's no one in balcony. There's no one in pit. You can take control of that position, and then the CTs are out of position on the bomb site. But somehow TYLOO managed to get like 3 kills in quick succession, which was so crucial in that timing. And that really hamstrung MVP entirely. And now TYLOO are in a pretty strong position. You can see they picked up a couple creeks. They're still with a UMP in the FAMAS, which is not ideal, but they will get this banana control going. They've got the deep smokes. And the question for MVP is, do you just let them sit here with this control, or do you try to challenge it straight away, or do you just concede that, let them have 4 players potentially on A, and then go for the mid take, and then be at a disadvantage? They have to challenge something. But right now they're just holding ramp. It looks like maybe they'll go for a late banana.
Perhaps they smell weakness. Okay, riflers need to go point. So there's not going to be no flash. There's dry peaks popping out. It's a late rotation and walking straight into the setup, but they're going to get absolutely battered. That is not the response we were looking for. Just like TYLOO at long doors early on the Dust 2. Just dry peaks, no grenades. Walk into a bait setup, but then set. Oh god, I haven't really considered somebody to be new box. So this has been a sloppy round from MVP from start to finish. Sign's got a lot to do, only 2 frags. That was a huge chance for them to pull away at the beginning of this half, but kind of threw it away.
Yeah, I think, so there's a couple things there. Firstly, we got to credit that setup, that CT setup. It was really nice. You don't often see a deep take a banana, then they just leave it open. They don't re-smoke it, they just leave it open. But you can see they had that bait setup, which was really, really awesome. And not too common, at least from in the European and North American scene that I have seen in the pro level. But what we didn't see from the T side, we didn't see a flash. Now, if you get deep banana smokes and you know that they could have an AWP potentially even, or somebody playing towards that half wall, you want that flash which you can throw from around the hay, the little wagon. And we didn't see that flash. That would have blinded the second player, which means they would have been able to easily trade the player that was close. And that's the one small detail that was needed. And it's cost them pretty heavily here. TYLOO are going to be taking potentially quite the lead. They've got an anti-eco to play. They've got the AWP out finally as well.
A pair of P250s for MVP. There's no flashbang to burst through a choke point, so it's going to be pretty hard to get anything done. Thinking around like this, whatever goal you might have on Inferno, I think 1 flashbang would be really, really helpful. Yeah. So otherwise, no, this is, I mean, there's no easy spot, of course, but a flash can help a hell of a lot because this is just cruel and unusual punishment. So I feel like if all you're going to buy is 2 P250s, buy 1 and buy a flashbang instead.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think it's been shown time and time again that there's a lot of single flash plays that can be pretty effective on this map.
Yeah, you need a flash to take position. You can't take position if you don't have a flash. and you'll just have Glocks and 2P250s on Inferno, unless your opponent makes a terrible mistake, which wasn't going to happen in that round. But we are back on the buys once again. I do wonder if MVP were being a little greedy with the utility they had left when they went for that push on Banana in the previous round, because it wasn't spectacular. I have to use some for a hold of their Banana control. They'll move a little deeper. Still 3 players towards B for the CTs. Somebody's conceded this, but okay, okay, that's kind of disgusting.
That doesn't make any sense on any level. Firstly, why are you there with the AWP in the sandbags?
That's a good question.
And then why are you even trying to do that? Why are you even trying to do a jump shot? Because when you reload, like, if you miss, which you probably are, the guy can just kill you. So I don't know what's going on.
Maybe he knows something we don't. Sandbags with an AWP. You saw it here first.
Oh my god. He spotted another one. Somebody is just absolutely insane, James. He's committed himself, and his teammate's going to get taken down on the trade. And now the bomb site is completely open. The smoke, oh, it's actually a bad smoke. That's a big deal. It's not a bad
smoke. Sign ran into it, which I guess made it bad, but it wasn't a bad throw at least. But it could cause a big problem. However, they made inroads towards construction pretty damn quickly. And they've got another 2-man setup. Walk straight into it, and this round has collapsed, but what a bizarre hold of the B of Banana. AWP by sandbags, and then just a raw peeks. Doesn't really consider that somebody could be around the corner. It was a disrespectful play, really, which didn't really work out.
Yeah, I can't say I really like how somebody played that position. It's just, you've got the AWP, and it's he's playing in an extremely risky fashion. Now that really is quite wild. Of course, he does have the rifle support, so if actually that was a missed shot, he should be fine. But at the same time, the way that he played the positions after that, it just didn't seem too confident. Like, if you're a really star level AWPer, you can go for those aggressive plays, but you got to have the confidence, and somebody looked a little bit all over the place there. So we'll see if the adjustment can be made. We've got Summer on the AWP this time. Zeph will go close. Flashbang comes out. Great spray there for Zeph to follow up for the kill. The trade attempt comes a little bit late there. Another one. The timings here on these trades are not perfect, and Bentet is going to easily spray them down, leaving Sign in a 1 versus 4. He might be able to extract another kill here, but that might be the best case. The Bomber's at least in control of him, but there is Summer ready and waiting. And TYLOO, they'll just take control of the match right back.
Bentet is that guy. Takes all those jewels, no problemo. Big problems for MVP. Again, they got battered on the previous map, and this is not the kind of start they were looking for. It was promising at the beginning, but that's a violent way to turn things around, Mr. Bentet. 5 seconds away from round number 10. There's a 1 round lead for TYLOO. We'll see how MVP are shaping up in a second.
So let's note the trade spacing here. You can see there's a little bit too much. This is a great replay because there's a little bit too much of a gap between each player. If that was just shortened by even a third, then it would have been okay, acceptable trade spacing, and then they would have likely gotten that kill. And it's those little things, like they have to try to trade that player at that point. They're so invested, but it's those little tiny details.
Big flashbang for Bentet. They're lining up. Surely it should have been 2. Summer will help with the Molotov. Or the incendiary, if you will. Sign is going to get drilled on the other side of the map, and maybe there's an opening, but somebody's still here. Can he deliver the first shot? It's going to be a raw pick, surely from the tees. There we go. The bomb's dropped, and all the players dropped as well. Another fast round for TYLOO, coming in thick and fast.
Absolutely, yeah. It's interesting because it feels like TYLOO have shown some weakness here or there, but ultimately they're still playing with some, good level of confidence, and MVP are they're just trying to trade out, and that can work fine, but as we saw, the spacing has to be really good on your trades as well as the utility usage, and MVP are kind of struggling, and we're not I think they would benefit from going to a default style of play just to see how that is, how it impacts the CTs and how they respond. Because so far we're just seeing this, which is just basically just fast and hard hits. It might work out here against somebody. Indeed, he's going to miss some shots. Can they actually get a bomb plant here? No, okay, Stax is in a lot of trouble. He's going to be sandwiched here. The bomb's lost.
Some good damage done to Summer, but it will not be followed up upon, and there's another round for TYLOO again. These rounds are on fast forward at the moment. 3-round lead for TYLOO. Let's see what MVP's buy is going to look like. They've got most of the... They've got enough money to get most of what they want. But how do they turn things around in their favor? Bentet 13 for 6. Somebody and Summer on 10. It's pretty happy days for the likes of TYLOO.
Indeed.
MVP has struggled at the beginning on Banana. TYLOO have had much success with their aggression. A molly down mid again will contain MVP and almost funnel them towards the bomb site.
Ooh.
Massive damage from HE grenades. They seem to be doubting what they want to do. Another HE flies through, and Zeph gets taken out. Zeta and HSK have to worry, because if there's a third player towards the Banana position, then maybe there's one more HE to come.
Yikes, that was really good from TYLOO. They didn't even have to fire any bullets. They did so much with utility. And MVP will take Banana. And so one thing I was talking about is the fact that I want to see more defaults from MVP. So they have Banana, but typically here, you would want to go back. That said, because they've already lost a man, you might just want to hit the bomb site as opposed to drawing things out. And we see a defensive smoke from TYLOO, but that will go away around 43 seconds. So there'll still be time afterwards to go for the site hit. They're going to go through the smoke actually with a flashbang and straight into the setup. And this is not working out at all, James.
Yeah, this is devastating. Devastating from TYLOO. They are all over this. Well then, Stax has got a little more he could do. Somebody, has he just thrown all his weapons on the floor? That's a beautiful shot from Stax. I think he needs to reload his weapon. I don't know what just happened there, but he's got 12 HP and he could get a 1 versus 1. He's looking for something, maybe an AWP. There it is. And there's a beautiful shot from Attacker. So I don't know if there was an attempt to change weapon, but it seemed that I think somebody just threw all his weapons on the floor.
Yeah.
So I don't know what happened there, but the headshot was awesome.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Here we go, about to see it in replay. Yeah, just throwing everything. So yeah, there's a lot about this T side that leaves much to be desired. As mentioned, one of the things that we're not seeing from MVP is a successful way to take map control, which is such a basic on playing your T-side Inferno. And TYLOO, every single round, have a lot of information. And it seems like, again, there's an overcompensation in that because they don't seem to be comfortable in taking map control on their buy rounds, they're trying to really trying to force things on Banana repeatedly when TYLOO are having a good time of it. If the CTs are winning Banana, you don't have to force the issue early in the round. Just let them take Banana at the beginning of the round. You take middle. Maybe they even use 3 players. That means your early mid to apartments timing is going to be stronger. You take that position away, then you decide, okay, do they have deep Banana control? All right, if they do, then we should probably try to at least challenge Banana. Don't have to commit, but challenge it to force them to rotate a player back. Then now we can go to A if we want, or to B. It's up to you at that point. But at least you have the options and you deny the CT's information. That is the very basics of what the T side should often look like. You don't have to do that all the time. But from MVP, what they're doing right now is not working. And so that's why I mentioned that.
Yeah, this is a very, very strong performance from TYLOO so far, looking to storm their way to the major. Loser will go to the play-in.
Yeah. I can't help but think that a default style would work quite well against TYLOO, because TYLOO like to be aggressive and proactive. So you're going to catch them playing for information, you're going to catch them pushing. And that could be like very interesting as a dynamic. But here we go, another buy round for MVP. Maybe they have a different approach.
Seems they've been deterred from the early pushes towards Banana, finally. They'll put a Molotov towards the car position, but they're focusing on A. Will it be a fast one? Got TYLOO looking to move down Banana, maybe. They should quickly realize that MVP have intentions towards the A bomb site indeed. We've got a rotation from Bentet all the way towards the A site. The Attacker will use the smokes to create some space, hiding behind the wall because he's being shot at the moment. So they're trying to find a good angle, but Freeman is here as well, and he will finally move away. Now, somebody's on Banana, moving back to the top. He doesn't have a smoke, but of course he's got AWP, so he can hold his angles. Bentet's got to be careful. Caught off guard. They're trying to charge towards that arch position. There are flashes. There's the bomb. Not a 2K though, but Freeman's here for an instant trade. Attacker still in the pit. Freeman with some beautiful bursts. spotting more players, and Zeta's the last man standing on short. He's in a 1 versus 2. They know exactly where he is. Attacker's making it super awkward. Could be in various places. Pops out from underneath the balcony, and there's double figures for TYLOO.
Yeah, so here, here we do see that change of approach whereby they go for a top mid take. Banana's not being successful, but one thing that they allowed TYLOO is, I talked about how proactive TYLOO were. TYLOO immediately sniffed out that there's nothing going on towards Banana, so they rotated a 4th player to A. And it can be fine to attack into that if you've got really good utility and so on and so forth. But TYLOO look really ready for the ting, as you would say. And so they just defended that really, really well, just hitting their shots, playing their trades. The set piece for MVP needed to be a bit stronger, I suppose.
Last chance to TYLOO in the first half. A focus towards Banana once again, and then Tet says no. Banana still with TYLOO, despite the falling of Bentet. Somebody's got to smoke if he wants to use it, but he'll use his AWP first. Can be nice to hold on to that second smoke. And Summer's made his way towards the B-bomb site, dropping a HE down. More presence being shown, and MVP will try to capitalize in the meantime towards the A-bomb site. Only 1 kill for Freeman there, trying to trade for his teammate. They were almost lined up for him, and now Summer's on a fast flank along with somebody. This is surely a round for MVP. They're not sure of the pit position. That might delay things slightly, as they're only now planting the bomb, which has allowed TYLOO to get very close to the bomb site and go beyond the molly. And Swine hasn't seen anything, but surely Zeph heard the connection.
Good position for Summer, but he's beyond the point. He's at this point now where if he pushes forwards, this pit player becomes a problem. That's a great smoke there. There's a window to attack, and Summer will do a good job getting 1 kill at the very least, but somebody's stuck on the AWP. This might be difficult to make this work at all. He's going to switch out for an M4. Smart stuff. It's the last round, so might as well go for it. He's got 13 bullets left after those bursts. It's not a lot, given that there's 2 players to deal with. Can't quite find anyone though, and there's a double peek, and MVP will lock it down. A 5th round. It was a real struggle on this T side for them, but 5 rounds, considering that struggle's not the worst outcome.
Indeed, they've given themselves a fighting chance going into half-time, so we'll see if they can do this after the break.
And welcome back. It was a struggle in that first half for MVP once again, but they got 5 rounds out of it. Now they move on to the CT side, where they should be able to have a stronger performance, I would imagine, but it does all depend on the pistol, I would say. And also, another thing we have to consider is that TYLOO on the T side, they are a dangerous prospect.
Indeed they are, and I don't know if the pistols have always been there when MVP have really needed them. So we'll see if they're able to pick it up on this second half. And let's see what they will choose to bring into it. HSK with an incendiary grenade. Interestingly, that's very expensive to pick up on a pistol round especially. Solid $600. Sign with a smoke and a diffuse kit. So what do they have in mind with this incendiary? I'll be very curious to see. But you never know, maybe the person carrying it gets popped and doesn't have a chance to show us. MVP are going to have 4 people top mid, just like TYLOO did in the first pistol round. It's a mirror in that respect, but TYLOO may have something else in mind.
Yeah, that B retake heavy top mid seems to be in vogue, and A is much harder to retake. So I don't blame teams for doing it. Makes a lot of sense. And TYLOO really showing all the presence in the world towards B. So this is interesting because TYLOO probably they know about the meta. So I wouldn't be surprised also to see them trying to absolutely bait rotation. Showing players here, surely rotations will be baited, but in fact, they're just going to go for it too. That works as well. And Zephyr's been dinked, and he's been smoked out of position. So it is a B retake. That's what they've been playing for, and they have that molly, James. Maybe this is what it was for all along.
Perhaps for new box, perhaps it's to throw out running from this position. Although going for the jewels, the molly will not be used whatsoever. There's a huge fight around construction, and it's causing all kinds of problems for the likes of MVP. Only 2 of them remain, and TYLOO repositioned to make life harder. Going for the double peek and finishing off the numbers. Stacks to 7 HP, flying somebody will finish off the job, and there's another pistol round denied for MVP. TYLOO in a strong position once again.
Yeah, TYLOO look like they're a lock-in almost for this one. They look so good. They picked up the pistol. They just have to survive against presumably the CT force bar that will likely come in. Or looks like they might actually go for the save here. The full save. You don't often see it on the CT side of Inferno in this particular circumstance, but we will see it this time. Getting rid of that decoy, and we will see Banana taken over by TYLOO. Obviously the stack on top mid for MVP with all 5 players. Might be circumvented entirely if TYLOO puts some initial efforts towards B and discover that it's empty, which is a possibility. Sometimes that's what you do. You just throw a Mac 10 in there. Throw it in there, see what happens. And where are the Mac 10s? We had one on Banana and the other one towards the T side of apartments playing passively. So see Stack's ready for the flash for his teammates so they can burst mid. But there's no one there yet.
Waiting for a sound cue, a step, a grenade, something. But being offered nothing at the moment. In the meantime, the creep continues. Again, it's interesting to watch a player look at what they prioritize as they move. Because certain positions when you go into B, you're exposed to 2 places at the same time, like top of the barrel, for example. Summer sees almost everybody, and attacker's like, okay, I don't need to face all these numbers at the same time. You can grenade dump and take the B bomb site. And that's what they will do. Somebody's gone into a very forward position, but he's got the only AK-47, so that could get interesting. Gets his bell rung as well, so maybe it's back to the B bomb site for him. Definitely don't want to allow that to be collected by the CTs. And Zeph will be looking for him. Signs found the Galil from earlier on, so there are bits and bobs collected for MVP, which will help them in the rounds to come.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see Bentet just going for it. Attacker, obviously, he's got a lot of value in utility. So throw Bentet at them. He's got the Mac 10, he's got full health. Make sure that they can't save that Galil if you possibly can. An attacker's going to get dinked as well. Everyone's getting dinked up. Where's Bentet? He's playing the most cautiously, actually. It's interesting because I was saying how you can throw Mac 10s in as the expendable players for info, but Bentet was playing extremely passively, and his teammates were the ones with the rifles were the ones going into B head first. So
see how somebody's moving his head as well as his mouth.
So yeah, pretty good spot for TYLOO. It's all gone according to plan. But this is it. This is it. If MVP really want to get back into this match, they're going to make it happen here. Because if they lose this, that's 13 for TYLOO, then they won't have anything. They'll have to save, and then that's 14 rounds already. So this is really the best chance to get back in, especially considering that we have a UMP and 2 Mac 10s for TYLOO still. But that can be dangerous on the approach quickly. Somebody's going to run straight through the Molotov. Oh my god, man. That is so beautiful. What an entry frag.
The disrespect.
That's devastating. He ran straight through that molly like it's like it's a basic Pug pre-Molotov patch.
They know now that there are 2 more players towards the B-bomb site, and it seems like he's not done just yet. Standing in the smoke, so he's being left to entertain the masses. What's going to happen? Out he comes. There's a player above his head. In the meantime, we've got some picks. Oh, look at this. He's just going to pull the rotation. Zetter's the last man on B. They've got all the information. Absolutely wild scenes. And TYLOO can plant this bomb and stand wherever they want to because Zetter is miles away.
Somebody is so interesting in the sense that you never quite know what you're going to get from him. He's going to do all kinds of crazy stuff. And on the CT side, it can be pretty nail-biting to watch at the best of times. But on the T side, he's going to be the guy taking some of these just ridiculous maneuvers. Like running through, like not just part of the Molotov, but the full Molotov. He ran through the widest part of the Molotov and gets this instant kill on the guy coffins. That's kind of unreal. Then standing in a smoke, and it just all works out for him. It's unbelievable. And as I said, this was such an impactful round because maybe with the saved AK, MVP will force up, considering that a Glil was saved from the previous round, so there was some additional cash on another player. So they can actually force it up, but I fear for them, James. I actually would like them to just save so they can have an AWP.
They don't have too many rounds to play with, however. So it's going to be tough, whatever they choose to do. 5-13, MVP have been knocked from pillar to post in this game so far, in this series.
You got to have nades on the CT side. That's the other thing too, right? You got to have nades. And ultimately, you really want an AWP. Those are the two real prerequisites, in my opinion, for a buy on the CT side at the best of times. And
these are the worst of times, Dan.
And yeah, it's true. But it's one of those things as well, if you're already behind, how likely do you think it is that you'll get value out of a force buy, considering how well TYLOO are playing? If your best likelihood to win a round is with a full buy, that might make more sense. If we're talking if it's we're looking at FaZe, or we're looking at a team which is renowned for individual ability, force buys become much more viable in this kind of a position on the CT side. But I think in this case, I feel like MVP need that full buy. But we'll see what they decide. Let's look at this move, man. That's so unbelievable. What a guy. What a guy. Just running through the Molotov. Instant kill on coffins. And they go for the force buy. So again, it doesn't look too bad. They have a good amount of utility, but they are lacking the AWP. And there's two MP9s and a FAMAS.
TYLOO on the cusp of greatness, heading towards sticker point. Zeph going through the flames.
No.
Oh, we've got a double Molotov combination. Killer Instinct combo. Hate cheese and Molotovs, and that is just not the start you need. It just isn't. More Molotov damage. And sets us in a bristle position. So our MVP. He's going to try and hold his position, though. 4 HP. He needs the biggest play of all time, and I don't think it's going to happen. Took one of the players out, though, so he's given Sign a chance, but it won't last very long. Another savage round. Nothing but violence from TYLOO.
Yeah, the shove all in on Banana. It's interesting, actually, because it's the players with the best guns who were the first two to die here. You can see that it's an AK and an M4. It's not the MP9s, which would have a better movement speed. You can jump around the corner and so on. It's the two guys with the rifles. So that kind of sucks that it's those guys going first in that situation where you're close range and it's all just mad. And now it will be the force buy. And they're not going to see a buy until they win a round. They have not many chances left to do so. 4 smokes. TYLOO showing their experience here. And it feels like MVP are playing a game that TYLOO love to play.
Pistols, just pistols for the likes of MVP. And HSK has been taken out. Only Zeph towards the B-bomb site. He'll drop a smoke. There's another smoke for Zeta as well. Stack's taken out towards A in the meantime. And we just wait for them to fall one by one, really. They have had their chances, their options taken away. TYLOO have imposed their will from round to round, from the opening bell and beyond.
Yeah. MVP have been struggling to make life difficult for TYLOO. That's always the name of the game in anything competitive. How can you make the decisions as uncomfortable as possible for your opponents? How can you put them in spots in which they don't know what to do, or how can you put them in spots where they're unable to play the style of gameplay that they like? And so far, TYLOO are getting to just play trades. They love that. They're getting to play against an aggressive CT side. They're not being starved in the approach from MVP. And I think that could be one of the ways that MVP could get ahead against TYLOO. Because TYLOO individually are a better team on the individual level when their players are firing on all cylinders. So you got to find other ways. And that's a decent smoke, actually, leaving a gap here, trying to lure the T's in, thinking that maybe they're covered. But instead, there's an AWP that awaits. So we talked about the AWP. Maybe it can make the difference.
Maybe it's too late to make the difference. It's match point for TYLOO. 10 match points in a row. Doesn't look likely that this is going to be turned around. We've seen comebacks before, but we haven't really seen an indication of the ability to win a round, really. TYLOO looking to abuse their numbers towards the top mid position. Stacks is trying to stack the frags. He gets good for 2, and the Molotov will get a 3rd one. So far, so good for MVP. Somebody moving into the arch position. Can he catch Zeph off guard, or will it be the other way around? Zeph stuck on the speedway position, moves forward, but there's a trade from HSK, which leaves Bentet, the man for TYLOO, with the bomb and 1 minute to play with.
Now, this is doable considering his position. There's a bunch of different options that he has here, and you have to be kind of lucky because you can never know which option is the good one. And he's chosen a pretty good one here. Going towards B is perhaps the strongest option that he has, given that there's only one player there. But he will be wrapping around library in case there's a player here and he can get a cheap frag. But unfortunately, he's going to be going into the Lion's Den. And these are the hardest positions to deal with, because you can look at this, like Sign can get, oh my god, that's a nice shot from Bentet. But Zet is there to be able to trade immediately. So unfortunately, he picked the wrong door and he gets shut down. But MVP, maybe there's a small sign of life. Able to defend a top mid rush, but there's so many other tests that still lie for them to tackle. Or lie in wait, I should say.
TYLOO have a better buy. Despite MVP winning the round, the damage done allows TYLOO to just maim their opponent to finish them off later on, potentially. They're better equipped. AKs over FAMAS. Somebody taking more damage than maybe he needed to. But he's still alive for the time being. They thought it was safe to push. They did some good grenades, but somebody was in the right place at the right time. Some spam, and Zeph's got to be really careful. There's so many darts flying his way. There we go, finally tagged through the wall, down to 43 HP as he backs off with no grenades to the B bomb site. And he's alone. Got no utility, no flash, no smoke, nothing to delay any kind of push. So does that commit MVP to doing something towards the A bomb site? As you can see, Zeth has got a kill with the AWP, and with that, he will head back towards B.
Got to get the bomb first. It's left almost in T-spawn. Never like to see that. Pretty decent smoke. Will be disappearing around the 40-second mark. So just enough time there for them to wait it out if they want to do it like that. That said, it's TYLOO, and sometimes they don't. They just go through it just like that. Straight for the smoke, and into Zeta there with the AWP in dark. Zef lying in waits towards the quad position. The new box, see what he can do from this position. He's got 2 players oncoming quickly. First doesn't spot him, but good spacing there for the clearance of the bomb site, and that allows a trade to come in. And now Stacks in the 1 versus 2 to try to save the day.
Somebody's got some sound cues, and that's going to be that. An open and shut case, absolutely monstrous from TYLOO. Didn't really feel challenged at all in that entire series. That is a huge scalp to take. I don't know how they were a 15% underdog on Strafe, but they showed that that was a huge mistake from all you people at home. And the road for MVP gets a hell of a lot longer, but TYLOO have found the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
Yeah, and they looked far more experienced, far better prepared, individually much more confident and better able. So it's no wonder that it was so dominant for them. And there seemed to be a bunch of tests here for MVP that they were unable to answer. Didn't see some of the defaults here on their T side, their CT sides as well. They didn't seem to have the answers that they needed. And TYLOO, they stuck to their basics, and their basics carried them through against MVP.
Yeah, that was huge. That was huge. I expected a competitive game. I didn't expect that. That was completely one-sided. Just, I mean, Dust 2 was an absolute deletion. And again, if you look at the stats on HLTV of those two maps between the two sides, they're pretty even, but it didn't feel that way when you looked at the action on the server. It was wildly in the favor of TYLOO, especially all those long pushes on Dust 2, just madness.
Yeah, to me, it kind of looked like TYLOO have the benefit of their experience on the international scene, much more so than the likes of MVP do. And I don't know if that's what kind of swung the difference, but strategically and tactically, TYLOO were in way better of a place. But it looks like it's time to toss it down to the stage with Sue.
Thank you very much, guys. Congratulations, Benset, and congratulations, everyone from TYLOO. You guys have succeeded. You're moving forward to the major, especially considering Freeman only joined about a month ago. You're looking extremely strong. You know, what are your thoughts?
I thought the team keep improving day by day, even though we have lost against Greyhound yesterday. We just not think about it. We just keep thinking that we still can make it because we had a good practice and a good team atmosphere. That's why we still feel confident.
The loss against Greyhound yesterday, even though it was a loss, it very much could have been a win for TYLOO, both on Inferno as well as the last map. So what do you think barely let it slip away?
Yeah, I think the match against Greyhound, we can win against them because I think we have a lot of mistakes, but also Greyhound play very well. That's it. That's it. Right.
And I know that you had a boot camp with Freeman coming into the minor, and so it's only been about a few weeks of real practice. Now you're going to have even more time to prepare together leading up to the majors. So what do you think the team is going to be working on, and how confident do you feel that you're going to be in even better shape for that major?
Yeah, our goal is to qualify for the Legend stage, and after this we're going to keep practicing. I think we're going to boot camp in Europe before the major, and let's see.
Last question before I let you go. There's going to be a lot of strong teams that you're facing at the major. Do any of the teams there stick out to you?
I think all the teams in the major is a really good team. Like, for example, the CIS minor Forze, they're a really good team. We practice against them a lot. And I think the new challenger stage is going to be so interesting.
I totally agree with that. But for now, congratulations